Yo, um, hope you guys are doing well. I just tweaked out right now because I got a Starbucks. Or when I opened the window and then she opened the window for like the drive-through window, like I smelled the Starbucks inside, but as she reached over to like let me pay on the little device thing, right? I like got a smell of her, and bro, she smelled exactly like one of my girlfriends, ex girlfriends, not like current girlfriend. I don't have multiple girlfriends. She smelled like one of my ex girlfriends. And then she was wearing like the same kind of sweaters too. And I was like thinking like when she asked me a question and I was thinking about that and I was like, huh? Anyways, this video today guys is about don't let people disrespect you, don't let people stomp over you, right? When to draw the line, when is someone disrespecting you and when is it a joke, right? How to go about it emotionally, and then what to do about it, how to take action. Now the thing is, in my life, I think I've been getting better, right? Obviously I still struggle with this, like I struggle with this to this day recently, but I've been getting better, especially with kids my age. I'll get better at when people disrespect me. And when growing up, dude, I had to deal with this all the time because when I'm growing up, like I'm a short guy, right? And a lot of people from school like love to pick on me from that, especially when I was a very like more, when I was way younger. A lot of the kids from school loved to pick on me for some of that stuff, right? So early on, I had to deal with that kind of stuff. So basically, I mean, I wouldn't want to say that I was bullied, right? Because I don't know if it affected me that much. But what I do want to say is that yes, it did affect me. And maybe I'm still recovering from it. Who knows, right? But anyways, what you gotta understand is that bullying is a very primal thing, right? So the person bullying you or the person disrespecting you, they're not doing it to like, they're not consciously thinking the night before, how can I disrespect this person, right? It just kind of happens naturally and very primally. Like obviously the main reason is just because bullying is a thing of like where they think you're weak and they will always pick out the weak link and pick on the weak link. You'll never see somebody picking out on like the alpha gorilla because they know that he's gonna fucking tear them apart, right? So you gotta understand this. Bullying is not something where it's an active thought of, okay, I'm gonna disrespect this guy. It just kind of happens. But, however, what you gotta learn is how do we, like I said, how do we decide whether this is like a joke or not, right? And having it decide whether it's a joke or not is, you can't cope and say, oh, well, they're just joking with me, because a lot of people do that. Like I'll see someone getting bullied, I'm like, bro, don't you want to stand up for yourself? And they're like, oh, well, but we're just joking. It's like, bro, it's not a joke. These people are bullying you. Don't cope with yourself. If you feel some type of way about it, bro, then you gotta stop letting it happen, right? And the thing is, we also gotta understand, how do we prevent it? Imagine this. I'm gonna give you an analogy right now, right? Dogs, right? Aggressive dogs, before they attack somebody, right? Let's say like you walk into a home and there's some aggressive dog. Before he's gonna immediately attack you, right? If he's like chill at first, what they'll start to do is they'll start to take little bites at you. Like they'll start nabbing at you, right? They won't immediately just grab onto you and start ripping you in half. They'll take little bites at you. Why? It's a very primal thing, because they're giving you a test. This happens to humans too. Every single animal in the whatever bullying, how it works is, first they'll say something little to you, they'll give you a little bite, because basically what the dog's trying to figure out is whether you're gonna do something about it or not, right? So like, let's say you bite some dude, and then the dude's like says something, he's verbal, he's loud, maybe he gets aggressive back and he hits the dog. And he says, "Don't bite me, dog," or like, and fucking slaps the dog. The dog's like, ah, right? Then the dog's gonna think, oh, okay, I'm not gonna bite this guy anymore and I'm not gonna try and attack this guy because I know that he's gonna do something about it, right? But you'll see the dogs that they start biting at you and they see that you're not gonna really do anything about it, they'll just go full in, they just start biting you, right? You know why? Because in their mind they think, oh, this pussy's not gonna do anything about it, so I'm gonna continue, right? So it's kind of the same thing with the bullies, with like that everyone faces and you and I face now, is like, what they'll do, they start off small, they'll say something small, and then they'll continue, and it just grows. And then basically you become their little bitch, you know what I mean? So you don't want that to happen. So you gotta understand is that in the future, if someone disrespects you, you will always say something about it, right? And what you also have to understand is like, bro, when people disrespect you, and if you're even polite about it and call them out on it, chances are, they're most like 90% of the time they're not gonna do anything about it, right? They're not gonna like act on it physically, but they're gonna leave you alone, right? Because you're standing on business. And the thing is, that's happened to me multiple times where like kids will say something to me, and all it takes is, bro, you just gotta check them. It's just literally, you can just ask them like, the key line for me sometimes when someone says something like stupid or whatever, like that tries to demean me or disrespect me, all I just say is like, what'd you say? Definitely, I just kind of ask them, because then it kind of forces them to think about what they were just talking to me about, you know? And then it's like, from there, they're just like, oh yeah, my bad, bro, that was a joke. And then you just say, I don't joke like that, you know what I mean? So most of the time, 90% of the time, people will leave you alone, right? After you address the issue. But there's another like 10% of the time where there's this one idiot, right? That like, even after you tell them to stop, they'll continue going, right? Because they don't believe that you'll do something about it. Which is why, even if you say something and they continue and you don't do anything about it, it's worse. Because then they now know that even if you said something, you're still not going to do it, right? So you've got to take it into another step. And now I don't mean getting violent. Like, I don't want you to get violent. But I'm going to give you a little example here, right? So last year, I think in my, junior year of high school, maybe this was sophomore year, I'm not sure when this was, but I was in my math class, and I was sitting down next to my buddy, right? And then this new kid came in. He probably was taken out of his other class and put into like this class, probably because he was in like a more advanced class, probably failed that one, so put into this one. So he got transferred to R, or maybe his other classes got moved, whatever, right? So he got moved to our class, right, this kid. And so this kid got moved to our class. And then already, because the first day was a substitute teacher, when he came, his first day, it was a substitute teacher. And so he was messing with the substitute teacher. I mean, this guy was kind of like the class clown, right? So he was messing with the substitute teacher. You know what I mean? Just like some stupid shit, like, she's trying to call out names, figure out who's here or not, and he's saying present for other people or some shit like that. Or it's like, you know, he's talking while she's talking, being disrespectful, just one of the class clowns, right? And so then what happened was, it continues, and then it's time to go and do our own work. So I come and sit down, because I was sitting at another table. I come and sit down by my buddy, and he was sitting at that table across from me. And so my buddy, he starts asking me questions about how to do this math problem. So I'm telling him, okay, you need to do this, you need to do X and Y and blah, blah, blah. And then randomly, this kid, the class clown, he just looks at me and he goes, shut up, right? And then I look up, right? And I think he had already been saying something to my friend, right? And he's looked at me and he said, shut up. And I said, hey, buddy, I don't know where you're from, right? I said this. I don't know where you're from or what you're doing, but it's like, I said, I don't play like that, so don't say that kind of stuff, because I don't play like that, right? And so I already told him, I gave him one warning, right? I continue. And then he kind of leaves me alone for a little bit, right? And he starts messing with my friend, picking on him, right? And then I told him to stop. And then my friend's not doing anything. So he calls my friend fat, right? And I tell him, and I gave him the 4 pleases, right? I tell him, bro, please don't be doing this. Please don't be doing this, right? I already told him to stop, right? And then basically this goes on throughout the class. I'm trying to explain things. This guy's being a dumbass right in front of me. And then it's kind of the final straw, because even though I gave this guy and I already checked him and I told him to stop doing stuff, he's already, like, you can tell he's a class clown, right? So the teacher's gonna tell him to stop doing stuff and he's not. So he's a bit fucking retarded. He's the type of person to continue, right? And the substitute teacher, she's like some little old Asian lady. I feel bad. And she's annoyed and she can't really do anything about it, because she's not gonna do anything about it. She's a little old Asian lady and he's taking advantage, right? So anyways, the class is about to finish. Me and my friend get up, everyone's getting up to get ready to get out of class. And so then my friend gets up and he leaves his water bottle. So I grab his water bottle for him, right? And as he's getting up, I grab his water bottle for him. And as I lean down to grab his water bottle, this guy, this class clown, right? He has his backpack kind of in front of his like, he's wearing his backpack in front, so it's kind of where his like chest and belly area is, like right here, right? Because a lot of the, I don't know if they do this in your school, but the athletes do that. I do that too. Like, they'll have a second bag, and they'll keep all their like their gear and stuff in there, right? And so as I bend down, he like bumps me with this bag, and like I move up, and he goes, "What are you gonna do about it, little guy?" And I looked at him dead in the eyes, on my mother's life. And you know I don't lie about shit. Like, you can, like, if anyone, I don't know, like, you guys aren't from my school, but for a while, like, people were talking about this because it got around, because this class clown was kind of a popular kid. And I looked him dead in the eyes, and after he said, "What are you gonna do about it, little guy?" I waited like 3 seconds, and I just went like this. I breathed in, breathed out. I took my hand, wallahi, on my mother's life, I did this. I took my hand and I hit him clean across the face. Bah! Right? Hard, right? Like, you could hear it, right? Like, hard. And that's all I did, right? All I did was that. And as I hit him, right after I hit him, he let out like a little bitch scream, and he was like, "Oh," like that, right? And I told him, and I would put my finger up to his face, and I said, "Don't ever fucking touch me again, or I'm gonna slap the shit out of you." Which didn't even make sense, because I already did slap the shit out of him. So I think I was just, I don't know what I was thinking. I was kind of mad. And I literally stormed out the class, and I opened, because there's one of those push to open doors. I fucking pushed to open it, like, bah! And I pushed to open it, and I slammed the door, and I left. Because I was pissed off at this dude. And right after I slapped him doing that, in the whole process of me walking out and storming out, my friend who was with me was laughing so hard because he couldn't even believe what the hell I just did. And he could not believe that I just slapped this dude in the face. It was so funny. And then the substitute teacher, I remember seeing the smile on her face. The substitute teacher smiled because she probably thought, "Oh, fuck this kid, he got what he deserved." And the whole class was silent when I did it. It was so funny. But anyways, then I ended up, after that, I ended up going to my next class. And then I think it got around. And then I think my girlfriend at the time asked me something like, "Hey," because I think, because this kid was popular, right? And my girlfriend at the time was like a popular kid too. And then she was like, "Hey, did you slap this guy, right? Did you slap this guy?" And then I don't remember. I don't think I wanted her to know that I got into a conflict. I was just like, "Slap? No, what? No, I never hit anybody, right?" And she's like, "You didn't slap this guy?" I'm like, "Who's that?" Because I didn't want her knowing that I slapped that guy. But anyways, that was just a kind of an example. It's where, like, even though I stood on business, at first he did leave me alone, but as he continued, like right then and there, if he would have said, "What are you gonna do about it, little guy?" and I didn't do anything, and I just went, and I just walked off, right? The next day at class, the next day, and the next day, and the next after that, he would continue messing with me, and then my life would be hell the rest of this year. But what happened? The next day we came in class, he kept his head down the whole class. Didn't mess with the sub, didn't mess with my friend, didn't mess with anyone, because I just embarrassed him, right? I humbled his ass. And here's the thing: the funniest part about it is this guy is flexing on Instagram how he's been a boxer for fucking 6 years, and I hit him and he didn't do shit, right? And I'm not saying I could fight, bro. Anybody could beat my ass, right? I'm like 5'5", 5'6", bro. Anybody could take me, but the thing is, most people are not willing to, because even though if someone can beat me, I can still cause some damage. So it's like, it's not worth it, right? You don't want to, even if you can beat me, you don't want to cause damage. So that's another thing. The reason why this works, the reason why standing up to someone works, right, is because then in their mind, the dog thinks, the reason why the dog bites someone and the ones who stands up for himself, he doesn't mess with him, is because he thinks there's mutual assured violence. The same reason why all of our countries have we have all nuclear weapons, but the reason why no one's attacking each other is because even if I have more nuclear weapons than you, and I send them, And if you send one nuclear weapon, that's still not worth it for me because I'm still gonna get fucked up, right? So it's mutually assured violence equals peace, which is why if you're with some bully, some guy tries to bully you, and he now understands, oh shit, this guy, he could like be violent, he's gonna stand on his business. He's gonna stop messing with you, and then there's gonna be peace between you guys because now you know, okay, this guy stood up for himself. And I bet that kid, that class clown, I bet from then on he'd probably respect me from then on because I remember I would go on runs and I'd run by him, and he'd go like this. He'd like just go like go like that, right? And I'd go, hey, what's up? Because now we're chill, and I have no problem against him, right? Because I've picked on people too. It's just I don't know. It's just in human nature, right? Like people, the weak link, you'll pick on them, right? So it's like it's just how it works, right? So understand that. Understand that that's how the world works. The dog's always gonna pick on the little dog, right? But he's not gonna pick on the little dog if the little dog's. You gotta stand up for yourself, right? So that's the thing. Now here's the thing. What if someone's already doing it to you? What do you do then? That's the difficult thing. So, difficult thing is if you've already let this go on, it's gonna be very hard to switch up. Even with like something verbal is most likely not gonna work anymore because they've understood that you're not gonna do anything. Which is why it sucks because you have to kind of get physical if you're not willing to like step up and tell some authority figure about it. Or if you can't, you have to tell them not to, or else you're gonna do something. Because you gotta say this: if you don't stop, I'm gonna do X, right? And if you don't stand on X, if they do it and you don't do X, then you just mess up again. Because now I think, okay, this guy's word isn't worth anything. So if he could say, he's gonna beat me up, and if he doesn't, I do it, then I'm gonna do it again, right? Because then they can just keep on stomping all over you. That's what's happening. So you gotta learn. If someone does something to you and you say, I'm gonna beat your ass, if you do it again and they do it again, bro, you better go beat their ass, bro. I'm just telling you, right? You better be willing to do what you say, right? That's how you're gonna get respect from the people trying to bully you. Is you stand on business, right? You do what you say. So what happens is in a situation where someone's already picking on you, it's very difficult. The best way to, like, if you can get out of that situation, right? Like, for example, the reason why I'm saying I've been dealing with it recently is because I got an Airbnb down here in Oceanside, but the company that I work for, they just bought out this company. So I came to help things down here. But the previous owner, he's like getting paid to like run it because there's no one to like run like all the previous things and all the previous customers. They all know him. And bro, he's business and he's smart. He knows everything, but he's a bit of a dick, right? And he picks on me. And the thing is, the problem is like usually if someone's my age, I don't let it happen. I always check someone if they're my age. But the problem is this guy's like, I don't know, pushing 70, right? So it's like when some guy's older and he says something to me, that's my issue. Is like, I've always been taught respect your elders, but now it's coming to a point where it's like, man, fuck respect your elders, bro. Because like now it's coming to a point where it's like my value, like my look on this my perspective on this is like, bro, only respect when like respect is given, right? So that's the thing. Like, I'm gonna respect you once you respect me. Because like I respected this guy and he's keep disrespecting me, and I'm just kind of being quiet about it because he's an older guy and I want to respect my elders. But now he's stomping all over me, and I'm in a point where like I can't wait to come back home because I got status up here and my status is down here. So it's like, how am I gonna deal with it? Obviously, I mean, you see me now. I'm coming back to I don't know if I explained it already, but basically I got an Airbnb down in Oceanside to help out this company, but I'm coming down back to where I live, 3-hour drive, just to take a break from it down here because it fucking sucks because this guy's picking on me, right? So I'm still dealing with it down here. That's the problem, is that I let it happen and I let it happen too much. So if you can't leave the area, then you've got to say something, right? If I have to come back here, I've got to stand up to the guy, bro. I've just got to get up to it and tell him and say, hey, don't say X. Don't talk to me like that, right? Well, these palm trees are sick. They've lighted these palm trees at this Volkswagen dealership. Or is it called Volkswagen? I think, right? Yeah, they put lights in these palm trees. But anyways, yeah, basically, you've got to understand that, right? You can't let people disrespect you and stumble over you, because once they do, they'll do it again. So it's kind of the thing of like my mom told me this once. She said, sometimes when you let people grab your hand, like let's say they're down in a well, and you let people grab your hand because you're trying to get them out, right? Sometimes they'll grab your hand, but they'll also grab your foot, right? A lot of people will mistake your kindness as weakness, and instead of just grabbing your hand, right, they'll grab your hand, your foot, your other hand, right, and then you just get cooked. So it's like, as I'm growing up and I'm learning, because I'm only 17, so like, what do I know, right? But still, I know a little bit. But as I'm growing up and I'm learning, it's like, and you know, I have some older friends, and like they all tell me like I'm a bit too nice to people. It's like, obviously I want to be nice, but I'm coming to a point where like the people that I have to deal with in high school versus like had to deal with in high school versus the real world. It's like the real world, bro. People are like you can. Most people are nice, right? But like a lot of people are like ruthless, right? So you've got to be able to stand on business and be, be able to be the type of guy that can be rude yourself. So I'm struggling with it too. But yeah. So anyways, hope that was a funny story for you. But yeah. Um, I forgot what else I was gonna say. But yeah, don't let people stumble over you, because if you do, your mental health is gonna deplete. Because when you let people stumble over you, they control your thoughts. The reason why it's bad is because, like, if it didn't bother you at all, right, then it kind of wouldn't matter, because it wouldn't affect the rest of your life. But it's like, if even if it's a very small part of your day and you let people stumble over you and it affects you, it'll get into your head and it'll affect your mental health, and then it'll affect your whole entire life. So that's why it's bad, because that'll affect all of your every kind of decision you make, your decision making. You feel very judged, and you don't want to feel judged. You want to make decisions knowing that you don't care about what other people think, or think about you, right? Anyways, that's all I had to say for that video. But anyways, all right, guys. I'm gonna get through this traffic. I'm gonna pause and then hopefully record another video in a couple of minutes. But all right, later.